The Manila Regional Trial Court has dismissed the proscription case filed by the Justice Department, which seeks to declare the CPP-NPA as terrorists.
The presiding judge noted that the atrocities cited by the DOJ only qualify as rebellion and not terrorism. Mon Guaves with the big story.
During the 50th anniversary of the declaration of martial law, the Manila Regional Trial Court released the 135-page resolution that junked the Justice Department's petition to declare the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, or the CPP-NPA a terrorist organization. In the resolution, the court said the CPP-NPA was not organized to engage in terrorism. The court added none of the 9 incidents allegedly committed by the CPP-NPA had substance. That's because the witnesses weren't even sure if the suspects were actual members of the communist group. The court explained these alleged attacks can only be considered as rebellion because it did not cause widespread and extraordinary fear and panic to the public. The court added that activism is a vital part of the democratic process of a country. Former NTF-ELCAC spokesperson Lorraine Badoy expressed her dismay over the said decision.
So much, all of these atrocities were committed in our own country. We're the ones that are saying, that this judge is saying, this is not a terrorist organization. Tayo yung biktima dito.
While former PNP chief and now Senator Bato de la Rosa respects the decision, he also couldn't help but feel disappointed.
Had it been the other way around, malaking tulong po sana yun sa problema natin sa insurgency.
Meanwhile, the CPP sees the decision as a pleasant surprise despite what they said were relentless efforts of the AFP and the NTF-ELCAC to pin them down with the terrorist label. With this, the group hopes that the NTF-ELCAC is now legally obliged to stop branding them as terrorists. Meanwhile, the DOJ said it is already planning to appeal the decision of the Manila RTC.
Alam niyo naman, it's something that does take us to take care of when people are attacking the state. Kailangan natin kumilos.
For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
What exactly was stated in the proscription case of the Justice Department against the Communist Party of the Philippines? Here's what we know. The DOJ filed a petition to declare the CPP-NPA as terrorist group on February 21, 2018. The department alleged that the group violated the now-repealed Human Security Act of 2007. Senior Deputy State Prosecutor Peter Ong cited 2 grounds for the proscription. First, the group was organized, they said, to engage in terrorism. Second, supposedly the groups committed acts of terrorism such as murder and arson to sow widespread panic. The administration presented several pieces of evidence to support its case. These include books authored by CPP founder Joma Sison, sworn statements from 20 former rebels, and 12 incidents carried out by the NPA in 2017.
So there were 12 incidents that we listed in 2017. We started with the ambush of the 4 policemen kasama yung Soko sa Bansalan, Davao del Sur. That was I think March or April 2017. And we ended doon sa attack nila sa mga members ng Philippine Army conducting humanitarian assistance and rehabilitation sa Katubig, Northern Samar. So yun po. Sinama na po namin doon yung kinagagalit ng presidente, yung isang attack nila sa police where a 4-month-old Muslim baby girl was killed in Bukidnon.
To give us his reaction on the Manila Court's decision, we have with us via Zoom retired Lieutenant General and former NTF-ELCAC spokesperson Antonio Parlade Jr. Good evening and welcome to the big story, sir.
Hi, Robbie. Hi, Gretchen. Good evening.
Sir, bago po ang lahat, your reaction to this decision by the Manila RTC?
Yeah, first of all, I'm wondering why are we even talking about this issue? Because remember, in your presentation, you mentioned there that this petition was filed in 2018, February, and it's talking about the Human Security Act. For context, I tried to review what the other newspapers are saying. So essentially, they're referring to provisions of Human Security Act of 2007, including their definitions of terrorism, their definitions of organization, Ang layo-layo nito sa definition and yes, many of the terms in the Human Security Act has been redefined in the Anti-Terror Act. Doon na lang sa terrorism, napakalayo. So yeah, Robbie, why are we even discussing this? So ako, para sa akin, itong issue na ito, itong mga news na ito, ano na lang ito, propaganda na lang ito. The video that you showed of Attorney Ong, ano yun 2018 pa yun, September 2018. So I doubt if you interview Attorney Ong, he's going to give the same inputs on this.
Well, in any case, one very clear reason why we're talking about this is whether you call it propaganda or not, the fact is a Manila court did dismiss this petition for proscription for the CPP-NPA. Let's try to dive deeper into some of the things that they said. One of the things they said is, look, this does not take away the avenue for the state to act against these criminal acts. These are criminal acts. Pero sabi nila, you can call it rebellion, but it's not terrorism. What do you think?
And why is that? Why is that? Look at this definition, Rovi, sa terrorism. Committed by any person who engages in acts intended to cause death or serious bodily injury and so on. That's the Anti-Terror Act. But if you're going to refer to the Human Security Act, ano bang nakalagay doon? Terrorism, any person who commits any act punishable under any of the following provisions, kasama doon sa binanggit mo, arson and murder even. So napakalayo. And also, there's a qualifier dito sa Human Security Act. It should be committed or thereby sowing a condition of widespread and extraordinary fear and panic among the populace. That's as far as the Human Security Act is concerned. But look at the provisions here, the anti-terror law. May nakalagay dito, when the purpose of such act by purpose of such act is to intimidate the general public or a segment thereof, So, Robbie, if you are terrorized, it doesn't matter kung dito lang, localized lang sa Metro Manila, yung ginawa ng NPA, CPP, but if you are terrorized and you are Filipino citizen or even a foreigner in our land, ano yun? Babagsak ka dito sa definition na ito ng anti-terror. So this is what I'm saying, Robbie. Yung decision dito, I tried to read the decision nitong judge for context. Napakalayo. She's talking of the Human Security Act. We're talking of the Anti-Terror Act. So, para sa akin, this is moot and academic. And the only purpose of highlighting this dismissal of this petition is really for propaganda.
Okay. General, we don't have a lot of time, so let me try to get 2 points that I think was mentioned, and then again, your reaction to it. One is, to your point, supposedly these were things that sowed, that was not necessarily about sowing widespread panic. One of the things that they said was precisely these were, in a way, separate and not necessarily representing a movement. They were saying, for example, that for each one of the 9 cases that were cited, for example, there were respondents, there were accused, there were people already arrested, undergoing trial separately, basically for separate crimes under these different laws. So sabi nila, nananagot naman yung mga yan. But to that point, they said, one, that does not necessarily establish that it was a movement. And secondly, to the point of this, if you were to ponder this under the Anti-Terror Act, which precisely goes to intent, I think the judge was trying to make a distinction between violence and even armed struggle as a means to an end, rather than terror being the be-all, end-all of the Terror Act itself. And thereby, they were saying there is the distinction precisely between rebellion on the one hand, which is a means to an end, and on the other hand, terror, which is basically the violence itself being the main point.
Yeah, and I agree with the judge. Remember, terrorism is just a means by these people to achieve political ends. So yun yung sinasabi dito ni Judge. The rebellion is a political act, yung terrorism ay iba. But no, they're almost the same. Remember, ang strategy ng Communist Party of the Philippines is, yung revolutionary dual tactics. They present themselves as if they're fighting for, legitimate grievances, and they are not. Of course, they're not saying that they're well into this, the plans of these NPAs to sow terror and all these violent acts. But it's very, very clear in their documents. They're one and the same, Robbie, Gretchen. They're one and the same.
How then do we differentiate activism from terrorism and rebellion and protect the voices in a democracy which are essential? And given the hardship and difficulty in being able to clearly define who are part of the CPP-NPA when it comes to what they wear, uniform, like the absence of evidence to actually say that they are CPP-NPA, how then do we protect the citizens' voices against the government, maybe critical for that are essential in democracy?
Gretchen, the law is very clear. The Anti-Terror Act is very clear. Hello? Yung ano nila, the rights, we are, in fact, yung definition of, dissent, these things are protected under the Anti-Terror Act. But I'll give an example, Gretchen, and I'm going to name Panday Sining. Who is Panday Sining? What organization is this? Would you say they are simple activists or what? No. Look at what they're posting in their website. They're teaching their members how to make Molotov bombs. So don't you think that's not illegal? So yun yung sinasabi natin. But if you're looking for definitions and the dividing line between being an activist and then being a terrorist, it's very clear dito sa Anti-Terror Act. So for me, it doesn't matter if you're wearing an NPA shirt and you're peaceful, walang problema. If you're wearing a Communist Party uniform, walang problema. But if your thoughts, your actions states or shows that you are supporting violence, and in fact you're doing and possibly involved in planning, in the preparation of a terrorist act, it's very clear. You will be declared a terrorist.
All right, thank you very much, former NTF-ELCAC spokesperson Antonio Parlade Jr.